Hey there, guys. It's Mia here. I am so excited. I am so excited about this live today. I'm going to teach very simply how to not let a good life get in the way of a great life, how not to allow a good life get in the way of what is possible for you, what you're able to do based on your gifts, your talent, your skills, your background, and your experience. I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started in my company a long time ago, about 20 years ago. And I simply made a decision. I decided I wanted to figure out how to take my knowledge, my background, my education, and I wanted to know specifically how to package it into a high ticket product on and offline so that I could create what I call a great life. And today you are in for a treat. Now, I have to make a disclaimer, okay? This is a pop up live, okay? And it was on my heart. I did a short video on this morning, and it just stayed with me all day long. And I just felt that there's someone out there that needs this message, how not to let a good life get in the way of a great one. And my only goal is to support you 100%. I'm going to disclaim that this is going to be a tough live today. So if you're here, if you're watching the replay, if you're here live, then I want you to prepare yourself for this. And if you're not ready for truth, this is not going to be the live for you. I do tons of great lives. You can come back every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But my goal today, really and simply, is to shake your shoulders, is to unearth your safety zone, is to call you out 100%. So that you can start stepping into that great life instead of settling for that good, that fair existence, right? That you've settled for. And you know, if this is you, if in some way in the recesses of your day, you think over and over again, man, I am just too smart to be living like this or doing this. Or maybe you've said something like, this is not sustainable. When you pull up in your driveway at the end of the day, and you're exhausted doing what you love to do, but you realize that the people that matter the most to you, you haven't had the kind of time that you want. Not for them and not for you. And because you're not able to show up for you, hey there, darling, because you're not able to show up for you, you can't show up really for any of the most powerful and important relationships in your world. I know what I'm talking about. I'm going to break this all the way down for you today. Now, do me a favor. If you're watching the replay, if you're here live, share this with a friend, not how to live a great life and not settle for a good one. And so many of us are living a life of quiet desperation. You know, I'm telling you the truth. I'm going to call you out today, but this is a tough life. And it isn't for you if your feelings get hurt easily, because I'm going to step all on your toes. And the reason I'm doing it is because I love you. And I want to see you take that next step forward and show up powerfully for yourself. I want you to make a decision that potentially will change the trajectory of your life. Okay. And when your life changes, every single person that you love the most, their lives change because of your reflection, because of your leadership. Okay. Because you're more fulfilled. And a lot of times we get this part mixed up. Like we put everybody else first, right? And everybody else is happy in our world. And we think that their happiness, I'm going to call it out, is enough for us. But inside, you're dying, right? Your soul's dying because you just can't sustain the way that you're living. It's killing you softly, your spirit, your motivation, right? And I want to call you out today. For those of you who are just joining me, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I got started in my company over 20 years ago, and I made a decision to go to work as myself. And I wanted to figure out how to take my background as a corporate trainer and my systems in motherhood and how to package those so that I could support other women with showing up powerfully for themselves, whether it was self-care systems or business systems or building the brands of themselves or packaging their knowledge. These are all the things that I've done for myself over the last 20 years. When I got started, I went to a small business resource center, and immediately I was told that my idea of mom coaching did not make any sense and that no one would ever pay me to be a mom coach. And I did it. I literally started as a mom coach, and signed my first television show as paid talent as mom strategist. I've done corporate deals as the mom strategist, literally with Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. I built an amazing coaching practice, coaching thousands of women, literally around the world, having the opportunity to be viewed by multi-millions of individuals as the mom strategist. And I want you to know what my come from is today. Everything that I'm going to share with you is what I've done. Okay, none of it's red, none of it's borrowed, none of it's blue, none of that. Okay, it is exactly what I've done, and I know what it takes. I know the bravery it takes to build your own business and brand. I know the courage that's necessary for you to trust yourself enough to go for it. And if you're ready, okay, for truth, okay, I want you to write, I'm ready. That's what I'd love for you to do at the top of any of my lives is right, you're ready, because you have to be ready to receive a powerful message. And one of the things that I learned is as a result of changing my own life, of stepping into my business for myself, that I get to live tall with my gifts, that I get to do what I absolutely love to do every single day. And because of that, I'm more fulfilled. So my children have had the opportunity to embrace a mother who is fulfilled and happy, okay, who had time for them, that didn't have to rush through the stories because I was doing something that didn't matter more than them. And a lot of us have this twisted, y'all know I'm telling the truth. I told you it's going to be a tough lot tonight. As a result of me saying yes to myself, when my husband needed me most, when he got a kidney transplant, I was able to be there for him, not only financially, but time-wise. All right. And I'm talking to those of you who you know that you are not showing up big for you. All right. And I'm going to take a stand for you today. And if you're ready, I want you to write, I'm ready. I know Jessica's ready because she's written, I'm ready. But if you're ready, I want you to write, I'm ready, because you have to be ready to receive a powerful message. It's just true. Now, I'm going to step on your toes today. And my only goal is to move you forward. Okay. Because that's how we change. All right. So, how to live a great life instead of settling for a good one. All right. And this message is specifically for you, for those of you who you have the ability to create amazing results with what you're doing already, whether it's in your professional life or whether it's what you've done personally. It's that the advice you give, it's the knowledge you have, it's the experience you have, it's your education and your background. It's for you. Okay. It's for you when you are sitting at work and you're thinking there's got to be more for me. Okay. Like you're at the top of the career food chain and you know that there is more that you're meant to do, but you're not really sure what it looks like. You're not really sure how to package it. And you've been saying, how in the world? And you're settling for, the safety. And so I'm going to call you out today. All right. Look, so let's get ready. Okay. Jessica's ready. Kyla's ready. Sasha's ready. And I'm so excited that you are ready and you're here. And if you're watching the replay, I want you to equally write, I am ready. All right. All right. The first thing, write this down. Okay. Write this down is if you want to live a great life and not settle for a good one, the first thing you must remember is this. You have to trust yourself implicitly. All right, I'm going to break it down. You got to trust yourself implicitly. Okay, you got to look at where have you come from? What have you gone through? What is it that you know that you know that you know? Okay, that if you had the opportunity right now to take the stage right now with your gifts and your talents and your ability, what is it that you would talk about from the very beginning, because it's what you do, is what you know like the back of your hand. All right. Now, for some of us, we know it because we're doing this thing professionally every single day, and we get the feedback from the people in our world. We know it. And for others of us, sometimes we're really brilliant and competent, but we haven't gotten to a place to trust ourselves implicitly, because sometimes when you're brilliant, it's like your gift, you're just breathing. And you don't even recognize the gift or the giftedness. Y'all know I'm talking to you, okay, right now. But in order for you to step into that great life, one of the things you have to do is begin to trust yourself implicitly. You've got to trust those cues. You've got to trust those compliments. You've got to trust those promotions. You've got to trust the things that people are saying to you over and over again. Like, that really changed my life, or I did what you said and it really made a difference. See, when I got started, I didn't have clients when I got started. What I had was my own life. I had created results in my own life. I created a system in my own life to always make time for myself. And because of that reflection, because of that light, because it was my zone of genius, or a mom, a new mom creating self-care systems for herself when she's pregnant with her first child, not even, didn't even have my baby yet physically. It was a unique gift that I had. And that unique giftedness is the thing that everybody saw. So once I had my son and I was dating myself and I was showing up powerfully for the me and mom, there were so many women that would ask me what I knew, and I was just breathing. I want you to hear my story, but I want you to think about yours. How are you just breathing? What is it that you're just doing over and over again, and people tell you all the time, but you haven't tuned in, you haven't leaned in, you haven't listened in, you haven't breathed in, and you haven't trusted yourself implicitly to say, this is it. Okay. For me, that's what I did. I literally was like, man, these people keep asking me about my systems and motherhood. And I realized from that moment, they saw something in me that I did not even realize was my zone of genius. And so I want you to think right now about the feedback that life has given you. It's probably how you're spending your time, what you're reading already, what you're doing already. It's probably what you talk about a lot. It's probably what you're doing professionally or what you do personally, but you're just breathing. Is this making sense? All right. Is this making sense? Number two, how to live a great life instead of settling for a good one. You got to understand this, that if you want to change your life, okay, it starts with you understanding that you are your number one asset. You're your number one asset. It's something I talk about all the time. And so if you are your number one asset, how are you treating that asset? Now, what I recognize for myself is that every single thing that I'm going to do to elevate anyone else in my world requires me first to elevate myself. Does that make sense? So when I want to give more to my family, to my community, to my clients, the very first thing and place that I start is self-elevation. I literally say, what can I do to sow into myself at the highest and tallest level so that I have the ability to pour more into the things that matter most to me? Because what I recognize is I can only give what I am. And if I don't make the time to invest time, money, and energy to elevate where I am, then how do I ever, right, give people all of who I am? And most of us are giving people less than who we are. And I'm telling you the truth. We're giving people less than who we are. And the reason we are is because we don't know ourselves, because we aren't investing in ourselves at the highest level, because we are investing in ourselves last. All right. And we're giving to every single thing and every single one else first, time, money, and energy. And when it's our turn, we fit in to get in. But if you're talking about living a great life instead of a good one, okay, and your heart, you're a giver, right? You're going to take care of your kids. That you're going to elevate your marriage, your relationships, your community, your family, your parents, whatever, right? Your clients. It starts with you understanding that the first line of care, exceptional care of investing in yourself, is taking care of you, your needs, right? And so when I break down what my needs are, I think about many things. Like I have a need for me to replenish myself, right? So I invest in myself always. I date myself always. I date myself individually. I date my husband at least every other week, although we dated like 3 times this week. I date my kids individually once a month when they're around, because I have 2 college students. And dating is like one of the best ways to build intimacy in any relationship. I love to self-date. And when I date myself, I really invest and pour in replenishing who I am. I meet so many women that really have a struggle with self dates. They won't even take an hour to themselves or 2 hours to themselves, or they think that a visit to a day spa is a self date. And I'm going to break this all the way down. I told you it's going to be a tough live today. I believe that there's self care and there's maintenance care. Okay. Now, if you go get your hair done, right, your nails done, you go get a massage, that's maintenance care. Okay, that's not self-care. That's maintenance care, right? That's what you do to fine tune you, right? Like literally. There's nothing sexy or amazing about being under a dryer. Okay, let's be clear about that. Or getting your hair colored or whatever it is. All right, that's maintenance care. But self-care is completely different. Like self-care allows you to connect with your soul. It allows you to connect with your purpose. It allows you to have a state of mindfulness where you become clear on who you are. And if you ever want to inform the decisions in your life from the greatest source of power, then self-care is one of the most important things. That's why self-dating is so important. I've dated myself for the last I've been a mom for 23, almost 24 years. I date myself every single week. I started off at 90 minutes a week, and now I date myself. Sometimes I'll go away even like 2 weeks, 3 weeks at a time alone. I love self dates. They're amazing for me. And they always allow me to come back to give more, to pour more into my family and my relationships. And you guys hearing me, is this making sense? All right. I wanted to have a big, tall conversation with you today because so many women really struggle around making that separation for themselves and understanding how to elevate themselves. The other way that I like to invest in myself as my number one asset is the investments that I make in terms of growing my mindset or growing what I know how to do in my business. The reason that we become the success that we are is because we are the sum of our investments. And it's so interesting to me when you're talking to women and often they're thinking about making an investment in themselves. And women will say this and men don't. They'll say, when they want to make an investment in themselves, I need to talk to my husband before I can make a decision for myself. And I'm always like, well, why would you need to talk with your husband to decide what is best for you when you know what you need to grow who you are? It's because we aren't ready to take that stand for our own elevation. So when we're ready, you don't really need to ask permission for the things that you know you need. But when we aren't ready to take a stand for what it is that we need and want in the truest sense, we want to go through. Hey, Sherry, we want to go through someone else. We want to have someone else validate our decision making. We want to be codependent in our elevation, and it just doesn't work this way. I told you today, this is not going to be a lie for everyone. I'm going to break this all the way down. And my only goal is to support you with stepping into your power and understand if you want to create a great life instead of a good one, then the things that I recommend are the following. Number one is trusting yourself implicitly. Knowing that your gifts, your talents, and your skills will get you there. Okay, knowing that you are good enough, knowing that you don't need another class, you don't need another degree. You can launch this thing from where you are right now. Okay, and I can tell you, I see it all the time with my clients. They just lean into it for themselves. They decide to trust themselves implicitly, and they change their lives. Number two, you got to understand that you are your number one asset. And you got to make decisions to elevate proactively, not reactively, proactively, meaning you want to seek out proactively what you need and make an investment. Say yes quickly to what it is that you need and you desire. And I see women doing it all wrong the other way. They know what they need, they know what they want, but they want to find or get permission in order for them to step into the next level. And it's the thing that separates people who create great lives from a good life. When I got started my business, I did not ask my husband permission for me to invest in myself. I knew what I wanted to do to create time freedom for myself. And I said yes to myself. Okay. And then I informed him of the process, and he was like, okay, that's what you want to do. You sound so passionate about it. And if you're willing to work it, I'm all there for you. And that's what your partners will say for those of you who are married. And for those of you who are single and you haven't, maybe your story is, if you have kids, you're like, my kids are counting on me. You know what I mean? And like, I just got to wait until Tommy's off in college, and Tommy's like 8. Okay. That's a story that you're playing over and over again. That's not serving Tommy, right? Your kid. and it's not serving you. It's your delay story. But if you want to create a great life over a good one, introduce your child to all of who you are because you know yourself. And I think one of the most selfish things ever as a mom is not to let your kids know who you are because you don't know yourself, because you won't elevate. Number three, the third thing that I recommend is leading from the front. You're meant to show how it's done. So many people don't launch their dreams, their plans, their goals, their vision, right? The thing that they know they can do, because they don't want to lead from the front. They want to see it done first, and they want to follow someone else's example. They want to know that it's going to work. But I'm going to tell you one of the most fulfilling things to me ever. When I started as a mom coach. That really weren't mom coaches. There were parent coaches, a lot of health coaches, business coaches, things like that. And I decided that I wanted to be in my own category, the category of one. It served me exceptionally well. But in order for me to do that, I had to lead from the front. And you're going to have to lead from the front, because if you're meant to be the person to introduce whatever it is that's been planted inside of you, there's not going to be an example of how it's done. And so you've got to ask yourself what kind of investments you need to make in yourself, in your mind, so that you can align with leading from the front, being the person that says, I am meant to do this. You will learn how to do this thing, right? From me, from my methods, from my process, from my system. Stop trying to look for someone else doing something, and understand that it's all those years of experience that you have, that the world is waiting for you to introduce this to them. Is this making sense? Is this clear? I want to check in with you. If this is clear, I want you to write, this is so clear, right? This is so clear. If you're watching the replay, I want you to say, Mia, this is so clear. This is crystal clear, because it's so important not to let a good life get in the way of a great of a great life. And I see people do it all the time, and they settle because they don't want to lead from the front. They want someone else to do it first. They want to Google search their purpose. They're like looking for someone to tell them it's okay, that it's going to work. But I want you to know that the rewards, you can do it. If you can see it, you can do it. Sasha says it's clear. It's so clear, right? Sherry says so clear to me. Right. You don't need anyone's permission in order for you to step into your next dream. Erica says this is so clear, right? Like, so important. And Cassandra said, this is so clear and powerful. And I told you guys that this is going to be a tough live tonight, because if there's one person that gets this, right? I know there'll be more, 1 million more, right? Like, that gets this, then I'm here for the right reason. It was on my heart today. And when I thought about what is it that's allowed me to live a life that's unrecognizable, that allows me to work from the comfort of my home, 1 day a week, coaching my clients, that has allowed me last year to make just 4 hours of phone calls, like literally, closing clients, because I don't have to run my business that way. That's allowed me to be able to build my business anywhere I choose around the world. It was a dream. Okay. And the things that I'm sharing with you is what I did. I had to trust myself implicitly. I had to decide you could do this based on your gifts and your talents, based on the feedback of what your life looks like, based on all of your education, all of your experience as a trainer. You got this. And I had to trust that implicitly. I had to understand that I was my number one asset, and that I was never going to treat that asset as if it was number 2 or number 10 or not, that it came last. It had to come first. And I recognized in doing that every single person in my world that loved me became the benefactor of those investments. It's so important. Okay. I realized I didn't have to ask permission. That's a mindset. I had to step into my power and go get what I needed in order for me to live the life that I dreamed of. And I'm so grateful I made that decision. And number 3, I had to lead from the front. There were no other mom strategists when I got started years ago. Little did I know that's what I was meant to do. I didn't know when I got started that, my books would do exceptionally well. I didn't know I would get signed by 2 Emmy-nominated, nationally syndicated television shows as the mom strategist, paid talent. I had no idea that I would do corporate deals with Panera Bread, Great Harvest Bread Company, Corner Bakery Cafe, just to name a few, Marriott Corp. I had no idea. Okay. None. Okay. When I got started, I led from the front. And everything that I teach my clients today is based on me leading from the front. And the reason that I was able to build an amazing coaching practice, coaching thousands of women, is because there were women just like me wanting to build a business and a brand from scratch. And one of the things they wanted was an authentic messenger that had proof, that had the ability to transfer their knowledge, their skills, their talents, what they had done for themselves to them. And I've been able to do that. Number 4, okay, how to live a great life instead of a good one, is that you got to understand this, that you are born to be an original and you don't need to die by being a copy. I think it's John Mason has a book called You're Born an Original, Don't Die a Copy, right? And that came to my mind when I came up with this line item to talk about. You were born to be an original. Don't die being a copy. It's such a disservice, in my opinion, to God, right? To think that someone else's gifts are higher than your own. Can you imagine the degree of insecurity that exists in that margin? I want you to understand this, that the gifts that you have are your gifts, and they're very, very powerful. And I believe that every single one of us are gifted. You are gifted, okay? While you're here in this earth, your responsibility is to align with those gifts and to stay in those gifts. And if you ever feel that what someone else is doing is higher than your own, then it means that you need to do some self-work. It means that you're insecure. It means that you're living in doubt, fear, lack. Okay. I want you to understand the gifts you have are incredibly powerful. And the thoughts you have that are unique to you, or the reasons that the people who are meant to work with you will want to work with you, is because you're you. I can tell you this for sure. I attract very powerful women who say yes quickly, who invest in themselves, who are smart, they're sharp, and they're highly actionable, just like me, right? Because I show up as an original, being myself. I work with people who are master implementers. And you know what? I'm a master implementer. And I want you to think about it for yourself, that when you show up as an original, being your authentic, marvelous self, you are undeniable. And when you show up as a smaller version of someone else, your egg is cracked. There's a crack in your egg and there's a leak. And that leak over time, right, creates emptiness. I want you to understand this. You're born to be original. You're amazing. You're incredible. Just like who you are. And your goal while you're here, if you want to live a great life, is to become clear. Hey there, Robin, is to become clear on what that originality is, the power of what that originality is. Okay. The giftedness of what that originality is. That's your work. Okay. Somebody asked me a long time ago, I don't watch TV. I don't know if you guys know this about me, but when I met my husband 26 years ago, I had given up television. I haven't had a television. I didn't have a television when I met him. We have 2 televisions now downstairs, one in the gym and one in the family room, and that's it. And I don't watch TV. I think maybe last year I might have seen maybe I saw like 3 hours. Well, I saw 3 hours of TV minus now I watch, what is it? Love It or List It, right? When I work out. That's the only time I would watch a show. Because I like to be original in my thinking. I'm not looking to study anybody else. I understand that what God has planted inside me has his power, and that how could I ever think that something external is more powerful than what's internal? Are you guys with me? Are you hear me? Okay, on this. All right. If you want to live a great life instead of a good one, okay, own your gifts, own your bigness, own your giantness, become comfortable being that person that says that what is inside of me is mighty, is incredible, is meant to create amazing change. I'm just telling you. I think about one of the greatest opportunities I've had, and I didn't close this deal, but it changed my entire life. I guess it was about 6 years or so in business. I pitched to a large J&J company. And from pitching to that J&J company, they opened the door for me to pitch to a $1 billion ad agency. Some of you guys might know them, the Deutsche Media Group. And I had an opportunity to go and pitch in front of like 20 executives, and it just doesn't happen. But it was because of me understanding the power of my originality. It was because I really honored the gifts and have a great respect for being brilliant, and inspired by God. I believe we all are brilliant, and those gifts are inspired by God, right? That I could show up there. I wasn't there like looking at my cliff notes, reading what I'm supposed to say. You know what I'm saying? Believing that what I had on the outside was higher than what was on the inside. I was just speaking my truth. And I do believe wholeheartedly that understanding the power of speaking your truth. I think about the number of pitches, the doors I've walked through. I've pitched myself in MGM Studios, the Mark Burnett Studios, when it was Mark Burnett Studios. Literally pitched myself there. I've been in tons of incredible rooms that most people have never had the opportunity to even get in the door. And I know for sure that none of that would have happened if I were a copy of someone else. It was because I understand the power of being original. And I hope you guys hear my heart on this, that, your gifts will make room for you. They're your gifts. And that means they're original to you. All right. All right. Are we clear? All right. Are we clear? I told you it's going to be a tough life. Number five, own your time instead of selling it. If you want to live a great life instead of a good one, you got to own your time instead of selling your time. And one of the biggest shifts that I get my clients to make is to go from, most of my clients that come to me, they've been selling things, by the hour, so, if they're coaches, they might be charging $100 an hour or something like that, and $200 an hour if they're therapists or something like that. Their account, maybe $300 an attorney, something like that, or $500 an hour. So a lot of people they got a good income. They're making six figures plus, but they're selling their time. And the problem with selling your time is that selling your time is always going to get in the way of having a great life, because there's a cap on what you can earn, right? And that's always going, and if you don't show up, your income is based on your ability to perform. So actually not understanding how to build a business based on leverage is the thing that gets in the way. So I teach my clients how to own their time instead of sell it. I don't sell my time. I own my time. And so each and every week, I have one call each and every week where I coach my clients. In the majority, have a couple of private consulting clients, but the majority of my week is my own. And I don't sell my time any longer. And I haven't for over a decade. And I'm on a mission to support more women with understanding this powerful concept, this model, how to build your business based on leverage, how to renegotiate the way that you earn. I know nobody's told you this. I know that your parents don't know about it. My parents didn't. They were trading time for dollars, right? Most professionals don't know about it. A lot of us have mentoring relationships where they're conventional relationships where your mentors equally are trading time for dollars, and they don't understand how to build a business based on your knowledge, your background, your gifts, your talents, how to package what you're doing one to many. It's life changing. If you don't know how to do that, then you need to come to the Giant Experience Master Training, because it's where I break all of that down. And my clients leave crystal clear. Okay. Within, 45 days of the training, you get access to the training. You can watch it in the comfort of your home. And then you get to coach with me live for 2 days. And I bring my A game. And you leave clear, understanding that you've been settling if you're selling your time. That is not where it's at. Okay. Are you guys with me? Is this making sense? Okay. Is this making sense? If this is making sense, I want you to write, this is making sense. All right. Because my goal today was to have a tough talk with you. Okay. So that you can get this straight, because we're still in February. All right. And you have plenty of time this year to course correct, or whenever you're hearing this, you got plenty of time to get this straight. All right. But you got to understand that if you don't know how to change the model, this is likely not something you can teach yourself to do, because this wasn't something that I taught myself to do. Cassandra says, this is making sense. Awesome. Okay. Awesome. Number 6. Okay. The 6th thing that will support you in building a great life instead of a good one is building a business around the life you want to live, is building a business around the life you want to live. I'm going to repeat this: building a business around the life you want to live. Now, most of us get this part all mixed up. I work with a lot of high-end professionals who are already hitting six figures plus, right, in their lives. And they've got the income, they've got the trappings of what we say is success, maybe a great house, great cars, 2.5 vacations or whatever that, a year, whatever that looks like. Okay. 2.5 weeks, something like that. And that's a good life. But they don't have control. They haven't built their business around the life they want to live. And what they really want to do, what living really is to them, is that they could show up at the kids' plays and practices without getting permission. What living really is to them is that they could work from the comfort of their home. They could have their socks on, or they have a cup of tea with their spouse, and that they're not always running off to do something when they have other priorities to do something else. What it really means is that they want the opportunity to be able to travel more than 2-3 weeks a year. Okay. But because of the way they've built their business, the way that they earn in their life, their jobs, their careers, they can't do it. And it's the thing that gets in the way of a good life. It's really the reason why so many people talk about vacation the way they talk about it. I don't take vacations. I just change my work location, and I work somewhere differently when I'm away, and that's it. And it's because of my life. I can work anywhere I choose, and I can enjoy my life any and every day. So I'm not living for that 2.5. Okay, hear me on this. Is this making sense? And I hope you guys hear my heart in this. I'm not saying this to be braggadocious or anything like this. I'm saying this because it's a flat truth. And that so many people are settling. Like they're settling for, that 250, you know what I'm talking about, that 350, that 450, that 550. And the price you're paying is so great because you realize now, like, you've got income coming in, but you don't have a lifestyle that you get to enjoy. And I built my business around the life that I desired. I wanted to be a mom that could show up at every freaking play. You know what I mean? I just wanted to show up at every party. I wanted to be the cupcake mom. That was me. I wanted to volunteer at every time. I just want to do all that. And I knew to do that, I had to have a business that gave me time and had income. And a lot of people have income, no time, or they have a lot of time and they don't have income. So they can't do the things that they want to do when they want to do it. I think it's so important building your business in that way. When I think about what's the best part of the business that I run and the business that I've taught my clients to build for themselves, is the freedom. I was just talking with a client on, when was I talking to her? I think it was Monday or Tuesday. And when I met her, she was charging like a couple $100 an hour, working with clients one-on-one. In about 7 months, she changed her model. She now only meets with clients for 8 hours a week. Now all of her business is consulting, has more than replaced the income of trading time for dollars, and now has freedom throughout her day, not on the phone all day, 40, 50 hours. It just makes people burn out. And if this is something you've been trying to figure out for yourself, then check out the Giant Experience, because it is the way that I show you how to renegotiate the way you earn. I've worked with hundreds of professionals. You'll see on the Giant Experience page, I'll post the link here, the kind of results that we create. We always sell out, and we just create amazing results. Number 7, and number 7 is the last, of how to build a life that's great and not settle for a life that's good, is that, oh my goodness, it's so good. Oh goodness. Number 7 is that you determine your value based on the transformation you provide the world. So your value is not determined by your job or by a title or by the number of years you've worked somewhere, but instead your value is determined by the transformation that you create in the lives of others. And I think that that's so important. So many people don't get this. When you think about people who have a great life, I can tell you that their transformation that they provide is massive. And most people are not focusing on delivering transformation. They don't even understand how to look at what they're doing in a transformative way. But the moment that you understand, like the people, think about like people who you have admired the most, and then think about the kind of impact that they have created, the transformation that they have made in your life. So ultimately, your value, what people pay you, is not based on a service or a product. The value that people pay you is based on the transformation, the change that you broker into someone else's life. And I can tell you that the best thing you could ever do is get clear on what that process possibly could be for you. And it works for everyone. I mean, I work with clients sometimes that are, maybe they're medical professionals, or maybe it's a mom who is like, I want to be a mom coach, right? And trying to get clear because she's great at what she does personally, but she also has an ability to help other people, right? Create better, relationships with their children. And so once she gets clear on what that process, what it can look like, we're able to package that into a high ticket product, even if she doesn't have a product already. Okay. It can be a professional that maybe it's something you're doing personally, something you're doing professionally at work. And you're like, how do I take what I'm doing and transform that? I have a dear friend of mine who is just recently starting her own business as a medical doctor to build this business completely differently as a consultant, leveraging her knowledge. Okay. It can happen for you also, but it's not going to happen because you're going to teach yourself. Because if you knew how to do it, you would have already done it. We agree on this, right? So you're going to have to take that time and you're going to have to invest in yourself to step into it. I want to open the floor. This was a heavy live, okay? And y'all, I want to acknowledge you for being here. Hey, Hilda. Yeah, I was thinking about one of my friends is she's a medical doctor. Well, I wasn't thinking of you, Hilda, although it's great. But she's a medical doctor, and when I started my business 20 years ago, she started off with me and remembers that, I didn't have any products or anything at the time when I got started. I just had an idea, and all of these things that I talked to you guys about, trusting yourself implicitly. I had to work on my trust muscle and understanding that I was my number one asset, that there was not an investment that I would not make in myself to change myself. When I think about the number of classes that I've taken over the years and the investments that I've made so that I could show up powerfully, I'm my number one asset, and I've never hemmed and hawed about it. Number three, leading from the front. I understood from the very beginning that my responsibility was to lead with my gifts and my talents so that other people could benefit from my gifts and my skills. Number four, that it was born an original, and that I would never support anyone being a copy or duplicate of anyone else. That's the lowest vibration of that could possibly exist. You are an original, and if you don't know that, read John Mason's book, which is if you're born original, don't die a copy. Number five is all spiritual, guys. And when we operate outside of the highest vibration, you got to understand that spiritually, your spiritual muscle is weak. Number five, owning your time instead of selling it. I don't sell my time. I don't trade my time for money anymore. And it's changed my life. It's allowed me to go from having a good life to having a great life. And I work with tons of women who call themselves giants, and they too have made that decision that they no longer want the good life. And it was the only model that we all knew, quite frankly, because our parents didn't know about it. Right. And they want to change it for a life of leverage. And I can absolutely show you how to do that step by step. Number six, in building this business around the life that I desired, in opposed to, setting up a business that felt more like a job. I was like, I'm not into that. I just got out of that. Okay. I want to build a business that allows me to be free to be me. Okay. And I know there's somebody out there that's like, amen to that, right? Like, I wanted to build a business that would allow me to be free to be me. And I wanted to build a business around my life. And I've done that. Number seven, and determine your value. Your value is determined based on the transformation you provide. So you see why, if you operate in your gifts and your talents and your originality, and you're trusting yourself implicitly, there'll be other people who will trust you too, to be able to transfer what you know how to do to them. And that's very, very valuable. See, I can't transfer what somebody else's nose to somebody else. I'm going to transfer all of my years of experience. I'm going to transfer all of what I know how to do about how to pitch major corporations, because I've done that for myself. I've closed those deals. I'm going to transfer what I know how to do with the media, Fortune 100, Fortune 500 companies. And in addition to that, doing Emmy nominated, nationally syndicated television shows, and just doing segments even with the local news and national news, literally tons, writing for tons of publications. Literally, I wrote for Huffington Post. Ariana Huffington asked me personally to do it, and I did for about 3 or 4 years. But not only that, hundreds of publications I've written for, and I teach my clients how they can do exactly the same, or how to build a solid coaching practice, leveraging and packaging what you know step by step. Is what I did. I had so many women that said, show me what you've done. And I want to coach with you on the business side, because I want to build my business, my brand from scratch, and I want to have greater freedom. And that allowed me to step into a coaching practice that allowed me to support tons of women with doing exactly the same, step by step. So, so, so important. And I want to open the floor for you right now. Okay. What questions do you have for me that I could answer for you? What questions do you have for me that I can answer for you? Because that's what I'm here for, 100%. And what was your aha? What was your greatest aha or your greatest takeaway as a result of being here today? What was your aha? What was your takeaway from being here today? I can tell you that this live was going to be tough. I told you, right? And I delivered. But I hope that as a result of what you heard, that it really supports you with understanding that you are a giant. You've got incredible gifts and talents. And that if you package those things properly, you could change the rest of your year. I watch my clients do it over and over and over again. I think the last 3 or 4 calls that we've had, if this isn't correct, Hilda, tell me. The last 3 or 4 calls in the last month, 3 separate clients got on the calls. They've all pitched multi-million dollar deals. All of them. Literally. 3 clients. 3 separate clients. Okay. Not to count clients closing tens of thousands of dollars. These are women that many of them, when they got started, they weren't even closing anything, or closing very little. Most were closing nothing. But they followed what I'm talking to you guys about right now. As heavy as a deep conversation, but it's real. And if it's not true, Hilda, you can say that too. Like, I didn't hear that. But there's no reason for me to fabricate with you, because we can back up every single thing that we say. Okay. All right. Are there any other questions? Any other comments? What was your favorite aha, your takeaway? And because I would love to hear that from you. And if there are questions, I'll open the floor for the next minute, and then I'll sign off. I have had a ball, okay, here tonight. And I did a short video here today, right? And on this topic, and I was like, there's so much more I want to say about this, because this is really everything. This is like the thing that changes everything. People are running around thinking it's the funnel, it's the product, it's the service. It's not. It's these things I just talked to you about. Get these things together. Okay, here's my first aha, looking to create a life from my experience. I love you with the microphone. It's great. Great picture. Absolutely. And you have everything you need to step into that 100%. So own it. Tanya, awesome. My question is, how do I shape the transition of self-employment, health insurance, savings? So it's a process, right? So without knowing your situation directly, what I would say to you is, for me, what made all the difference in terms of me being able to create my health insurance, my savings, building a business that I could rely on, that could, that I could trust when I decided to, step into it 100%, was I created a transition plan for myself. And my deal was, when my youngest son, who is now 17, I was like, when Matthew's in school all day, I'm going to have this thing figured out. We're not talking about quitting your job today, tomorrow. You're talking about building this business properly so that you create options for yourself. and you know how to do it. And when your business is healthy enough to be able to cover your health insurance, when you have more than what you need for savings and anything else that you need, anything else that's vital for your family's existence, for yourself, then you make that transition, for yourself. And you'll know when that time is right. I actually have a client who started working with me in January last year. I mentioned her a lot. And she's a chess coach. And when I started working with her, um, I helped her change her model. And within about 9 months, she closed $287,000. Real talk. She was just on a call about, I think that was like 5 weeks ago, and she has already closed over $250,000 for this year. So we know she's going to hit over $500,000 this year. She started with an idea, and she packaged it the right way, and now she's looking at making the kind of transition that you're talking about. So my Tanya says, my moment was shaping a career around the life I want. Absolutely. So you're going to build that business with the right structures, with the right models that are really profitable. And when you do that, you'll be able to step into all the other stuff, and you'll be able, you won't have to worry about those things. I think sometimes we worry about them in advance, right? So she says, my biggest dilemma, let me try to show this, is monetizing my skills. I think it isn't a dilemma. What you're probably going to have to do is invest with someone that can show you how to monetize your skills. Okay. Because there's someone right now doing what you want to do that's monetizing what you want to do. And the only thing that separates us is not skill or ability. I can tell you this. It's what we know. Okay. It's what we know. Okay. If you know what I know, you can do what I do, for real. Sherry says, biggest takeaway is own my time and stop selling it. Okay. Awesome. Own my time, stop selling it. Are there any final ahas or takeaways, anything that I could share? Was this good for you? Was this good, or was this good? Right. This was really good. And, share this with someone that this will benefit. That's why I come here. I come usually live every Monday, 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did a short version of this. If you are on my newsletter list, you'll see this in the Leverage Up series that we're running. And I was like, man, there's so much more I want to say about this, though. And so I decided to come live tonight. You can always check me out tomorrow at 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm here every Monday, usually just once a week. And I'm so excited that I had the opportunity to share with you today. Again, I'm Mia Redrick, business and life consultant. I'm so excited. Robin, I am so excited to see you. I'm an original. That was your aha, right? And you're looking forward to the giant experience. I'm so excited. This weekend, it's going to be amazing. I promise you, I'll bring my A game, and it's going to be transformational for you. And I'll have the opportunity to really connect and learn what it is that you do. I know what you do, right? But really, and help you find centers for monetization in it, ways to package it to give you greater time freedom, models that you just have not really thought about that pertain specifically to what you're doing, or to show you how you can license what you're doing, or how you can leverage that film that you have in the media for greater opportunity, greater exposure, greater profitability. I'm so excited, and I can't wait. So with that, I am done. I want to thank you for your time today. I appreciate you. Have an amazing day.